Welcome, welcome, welcome to this edition of Sagionic 1027. We are so glad you decided to join us. And without Belle, I have another one of those guests that are like, where does she find them? And so today's guest is a woman I actually had the honor of meeting, I want to say about 10 years ago. And I even want to say, I think we had kids in common that went to the same high school. We attended the same place of fellowship, and I just became aware of her, not like we were BFFs. We were just in different groups of friendships or whatever, but I've just kind of watched her over the year, and it's just been like, I like her, Lord. I like her, you know? And so today's guest is Leslie Manning, and she is we're going to call her a global influencer. She's a global influencer for body, mind, health. Global influencer for body, mind, health. That's what I'm going to call you. That's what I'm going to call you.
I
So,
received that.
Leslie, Leslie, welcome to our broadcast today. We are so glad you're with us. And today's program is all about you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. So tell our viewers a little bit about, I love that the rays from the sun are sunbeaming down on you right now.
And they
Love it.
weren't like all morning.
I know. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love
Let
it.
me know if it's annoying and you need me to
No,
mute at all.
no, are you kidding me? Because if I was there, right, if they were shining down on me, I'm sorry, people, I would let it shine down on me. I wouldn't stop it because that feeling of the sun coming down on us, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of nutrition, right? You're a nutritional therapy practitioner, right? Can you
Right.
tell us a little bit? What made you decide to go into that field?
I think for some people, they have this one aha moment that
Okay.
defines everything. And
Okay.
I think for others, it's stepping stones. And then you could look back and see how it all connects, how you were on this journey, this fluid journey of reaching what you were meant to do and what you
Yeah.
were born to do. And then you reach out to those who know you best and say, I'm thinking about doing this. Am I crazy? If you don't think I'm crazy already to do
Uh-huh.
something this insane. And it was a 100% affirmation for everybody who knows me best. It was like, absolutely, this is you. Do it, do it, do it. And it's just a big decision to, go back to school in your 50s and, say, should I do this? What do I want to be when I grow up? But I can look back and see how major events led me to becoming a holistic nutritionist. And I think one of the huge starting pivotal points for me, catalysts, if you will,
Okay.
was that I lost my dad in my late 20s. And it was absolutely devastating. And it was, due to a problem with his heart. And that just started something that said, I am not going to do this to my children. I am going to do whatever possible to be here for my kids and my grandkids, whatever that takes. And just, isn't that my mother passed away 5 years later. And so it was like, how can I be different? How can I make better choices? My mother started smoking when she was 11 and led a very sedentary life. She was a wonderful, beautiful woman and did the best she could, right? And, I accept that and I'm glad for that. I also think that things in our life happens that propel you, the trauma or tragedies or crises that propel you into doing something different or being something different. And that started losing my parents at such a young age and having, babies and saying, where are you? These are your grandchildren, and just that, grieving that loss, but also turning that into something positive and hopefully influencing others that if I can do this, you can do this too. And listen to find out what your thing is, your one thing, and just be all in, no matter how hard it is. Don't ever let money hold you back. Money is easy for God. He puts it in the mouth of a fish. It's just very easy for him and limiting to think anything different, although I've been very guilty of that many times. But I think it's just a matter of just being in tune and learning from all those experiences, and again, turning them around for something good. And it's like, well, if over 80% of the most common diseases in America are preventable, and if food is medicine, there has to be a relation, there has to be a connection. And that was just the avenue I started to go down in functional nutrition, of looking at root causes. And my type of clients I have are that they don't feel well. They don't. Something is up. They go to their doctor and all their labs are fine. And they say, why don't I still not feel well? And it's where I kind of come in with nutrition and start looking at nutrition and lifestyle and trying to find nutritional deficiencies, trying to find ways that I can take what they're doing and just tweak them and make these small changes that are going to have big results. And it's also helping them looking at their blood chemistry and looking at through the lens of preventative, in a way that says, usually a doctor, and God bless doctors, they save lives. And usually something isn't going to show up unless it's too late. A lab might show up as abnormal. Well, then you already have type 2 diabetes, or you already have hypothyroidism, or you already have fill in the blank. And so I look at a functional blood chemistry. I look at the lab markers and I say, this is heading this direction if you don't make something. This is going in this direction because this marker is high and this particular specific marker is low. That means something. That's a pattern and needs to be addressed, or you're going to head down the road towards, fill in the blank. Yeah. And it's just coming alongside people.
Now let's pause there for a second, okay? Because I'm reminded of, it was about, I want to say 8-9 years ago. 8-9 years ago, my eyes started to play a trick on me. And in the evening, like, they would do this kind of stuff, like, woo, like this. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was through the eye doctor that she said, Shawn, I want you to specifically go in and ask them to run this panel. Okay. And so I went into the doctors and I said, I need you to run this panel on me because my eye doctor told me. Okay. Yeah. And so then they wound up coming back and telling me, so you'll know these numbers, whatever's associated with my thyroid that would deem me to have Hashimoto's, it was in the 2000 and change.
Wow.
I kid you not. It was in, it was over 2000.
Wow.
And unknowingly, I had poisoned myself through cleaning chemicals. Unknowingly, because my mom said salt was bad, I didn't do salt ever. Barely ever did I consume salt. So here I was cleaning houses 5 days a week. Here I was jump roping 5 days a week. Here I was lifting heavy weights 3 days a week to stay fit. Right?
Yeah.
And I was dying.
Yikes. Yeah.
And so then for me, I went on a quest to what is in, when I did get the initial first prescription, but that first prescription I got was going to cost me out of pocket $135 a month. And I'm like, Lord, I bought it, but I never took it. And I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to show me in nature how to heal myself. And so, so give us some examples, okay? Because you've given us the why. Now, obviously, without using names, give us some examples how you've been able to see people who had different elements. I want to call it medical markers. So we're going to go two different categories: medical markers, and then becoming personally aware of oneself and paying attention to the body. And then they realize, oh man, I feel like hell, I need help. So show us the transformations that you've seen take place in people's lives.
Yeah, I had a client who was doing all the things,
Okay.
taking, appropriate supplements, exercising, walking, community, was just doing all the things, but just felt exhausted all the time. And it just went to their doctor. The doctor said, oh, your labs are fine. And so came to me, looked at them, and his lab markers were indicative of presentations of a parasite. And so we had him start a recommendation of just to eradicate these parasites. And in the process, unknowingly, he dropped 20 excess pounds that he didn't need, but it was, the COVID-19, right? And so dropped that and just was restored to better health, better energy, and just never felt better. But that was something that I could find for him and Drew that just was escaped by, other people who, had looked at him. And so that was, extremely rewarding to get him, feeling good again. If you don't feel well, there is a reason for it.
Yes.
I will do everything compassionately and fun. I will do everything possible to find out why that is. I think so many people write off, oh, I'm just getting older. Oh, this, oh, I had, and it's not. We were created to live full, vibrant, physical lives. And if you are not doing that at any age, there is a reason for that. And
that's right.
Let's find out what that is. Or let's prevent something, from happening, down the road and just be, proactive in that.
Yes.
And so, and another client that I had on their intake paperwork, they indicated the medications they were taking. And after, interviewing him and, spending some time, I was looking at how the medication that he was on was not aligning with what I was seeing in front of me.
Okay.
And so I literally just said to him, are you aware that this medication is for schizophrenia? And his mouth dropped. And he just said, an old doctor, put me on this. And I just, I didn't question it. Not that we should go around questioning doctors. Yeah. They're amazing. Yeah. They are amazing. They are gifts from God. Yeah. And just, he assumed that was right for him. Well, it was causing all of these problems for him. And not to mention that this medication in particular, basically what it does is it interferes with other nutrients in our body that will sometimes make a person be deficient in it.
Yeah.
They're called nutrient depleting medications.
Okay.
Birth control is a huge one that depletes, a lot of critical vitamins and minerals in our bodies. And so, and again, I'm not anti-birth control. I'm just saying, if you are taking a medication, please know what nutrients it's going to deplete and supplement those through diet to help. And so because of this medication, number one, it was not appropriate. It was not a good fit for him. Number two, was causing all kinds of side effects. Number three, nutrient depleted his body. And as a result, that's why he was, seeing me. And so in a really short amount of time, he found a new doctor, went to the doctor, and the doctor just said, you should not be on this medication. Put him on something else that was different, that was more aligned to what his body needed at the time, which was perfect. And then I could come along and help, geared him towards what nutrients he needed to replenish and just get on the right track again and feeling amazing. And I remember his partner telling me that, who'd known him for 10 years, and just said, this is the happiest and healthiest I have seen him in 10 years. And that was so rewarding. That was just the ultimate, for me, is just helping people, feel better. But again,
Yeah.
it's in this educational and safe place and full of grace. There's just no shame here.
Yeah,
There's
that's
just no
really
shame
good.
here.
I'm really glad you brought something up because I did this because I have a two-part question. Okay, my two-part question is this. I've heard it years ago. I heard somebody tell me that in order for the body to process carbonation, it takes calcium.
Hmm.
And so I thought when I found this out years ago, I'm like, I am not doing carbonation because I'm not losing any bone. I want to keep all my bones, I want to keep my teeth, and so on and so forth, right? So I heard that, but I've often wondered. Okay, I'm not FY. For anybody who sees this, I'm not a doctor. Don't lay claims to anything. This is just
Same.
my human thought process. My human thought process that I've wondered over the years. Okay. So, if our human bodies as women, and I'm going to specifically speak on the woman's human body, I have 55 years worth of experience.
Yay. Awesome.
Okay, 55 years worth of experience in a woman's body. Okay, if a woman's body was created for every month for the breast to prepare themselves to nurse, and then if you don't nurse because you're not impregnated, then the breast tissues shed. Okay. If the uterine wall was created to get ready to be fertile, to house an egg, which turns into a human, right? And then it doesn't have an egg drop, who's combined with the swimmer, um, then it sheds. So I've often wondered, okay, and this is my just human opinion, if medication is being taken that causes a woman to not have a period, um, to me it seems like it would hinder the human body from doing what it was created to do because your breasts are not shedding and your uterus is not shedding. And to me, it seems like that would be a great cause in what is causing the C word to break out in so many women. And I think that's just tragedy. Yes, it's uncomfortable now I don't have a womb anymore. Praise God. My womb departed from my body 15 years ago, and it needed to be. Okay. But, anyways, so what is your thought process on the need for bodies to create the way for bodies to function the way they were created to function?
I think there's some things that are true across the board for everybody.
Okay.
I also at the same time believe in bio-individuality.
Okay.
That one size does not fit
Okay.
all.
Okay.
So I can't say every person should take these 4 supplements. Every, person, or to the extreme, no person should take fill in the blank. I just don't think there's these, extremes either way. And again, looking at bio-individuality, what does your body need? And your body's not going to always need the same thing. It's going to constantly be changing. It's constantly fluid, and our bodies are going through, especially as women, going through different stages and cycles and all of that. And so I just feel that it's just forever changing, and just to be mindful and present and be in touch with yourself, and what do I need right now? What is, going on right now? And I think that as much as you can honor your body, as God made it, the more it's going to benefit you. And I think the number one way you can do that is just eat whole foods in the way that he created them to be. Packaged applesauce versus eating an apple.
Yes, yes.
And there's no judgment on the packaged applesauce, but if you eat a whole apple, you are going to eat everything, the fiber in it, which is going to help reduce the sugar metabolism in your body. And you're going to be receiving everything as, it was created to be received. And as a result of that, it's going to benefit your body, greatly, as opposed to eating anything that's processed, per se.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I also balance that with moderation.
Uh-huh.
I eat sugar every day. I eat chocolate every day. It's good. There's many organs in our body where the preferred fuel is sugar, is glucose, and that's a good thing, but not too much. And it's just a lot of balance and just being intentional about that. But it can also be doable, very doable. So I hope that helps.
It does. And I like how you said our body goes through changes. Okay. So
Constantly.
sometimes we need something. And so when I was on my personal journey to heal thyself, right?
Yeah.
I had started taking what can I think of what that powdered stuff is called? That's weird. Anyways, started taking something because I wanted to find what are they trying to recreate in this medicine that they were that was prescribed to me, right? What is in nature that is trying to recreate that? So I began to take that, and I took it for 8 years, and then all of a sudden I started to not feel well, and I was like, Lord, am I like, has my body repaired itself and now I don't need to take this? And so but I first played with it like, maybe I need to take a little more, and no, this is not working,
Yeah.
right? So listening to my body, right? And so then I stopped taking it, and my body is just thriving. But I listened to it to know, okay, so two things. I'm sure you're aware of I think it's called the circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm.
Yep. And then the other thing is like in trying to understand being a woman, right? How I discovered that there was actually multiple cycles within a month's period, right?
Yes.
So there was a 24 to 36 hour period where I felt like I was snapping a rod. Okay. There was a 24 to 36 hour period where I was so tired I couldn't even see straight. There was a 24-hour period where I was so hungry I could eat the sink, right? And then back in the day when I was having kids, there was a 24-hour period where I was this ravenous woman that wanted to take her husband to the bedroom, okay? Right? And then of course you have you have the actual cycle where your body has the discharge, menstrual cycle, right? And when I learned that about myself, then when it was coming upon me, I was like, oh, this is where I'm at. And then I knew better how to take care of myself. Okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So can you tell our
100%.
viewers about the circadian rhythm? I think that, so yesterday I interviewed someone who is also a naturopathic doctor. And I just think it's fascinating. And so he has studied Chinese medicine. And I think we need to not throw out other things because it doesn't look like the BIBLE. Okay, you're a woman of faith. I'm a woman of faith. But can you talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about the circadian rhythm? Because when I found out about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff, or reflexology is fascinating.
Yeah. Circadian rhythm is huge for everybody. And that is one thing that affects everybody. It's, as I kind of had two categories. There's bio-individual, absolutely, but there's also some things that it's for everybody. Everybody needs to move their body. It's just movement looks like different things for different people at different times of our lives. And that's great, but everybody needs to move their body.
Yeah.
So with the circadian rhythm, I have worked with clients by just getting them, bribing them to go to bed early has changed their entire lives. We are not generally created to, go to bed at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. And that's the case for a lot of people for different reasons. whether it be they can't sleep, hormones aren't balanced, blood sugar regulation isn't balanced, they're bored, they're lonely, whatever it is. And just by changing the time they go to bed has completely changed their lives, because they're getting the sleep when their body is meant to sleep and optimally sleep, and getting enough hours, and it changes their whole life. That's when we sleep, so many things happen. We are detoxing. It's a major form of detoxification. It's also a major time of healing in our body, and it's also a major time of just cleaning out our brains. And imagine if you're not sleeping well, you're not detoxing, you're not cleaning out your brain, and you're not getting all the things that your body needs to function, each and every day in a well basis. And
Yeah.
we in the Pacific Northwest, there's a few months out of the year we don't see the sun for a while. And so the sun is really critical. And if we can't see the sun, then I really suggest getting a light machine. It's a real thing, and it's a real need, and people benefit from it, of just getting that early morning light in the morning that tells us, oh, wake up. It's time to, get all the right hormones going in your body to set you up for a great day. And then vice versa in the evening. I always put on blue light glasses, blue light that I will read to, so that my melatonin will kick in naturally. So I will be sleepy, I will be tired, and just getting that in motion. But it's everything it's cracked up to be. So circadian rhythm, it's a big deal. It's worth, adhering your body to it as much as possible, as you can. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So can you also talk to us about the 24-hour body clock?
24-hour body clock is, I want to be careful too, because there's a lot of people out there that work nights. There's a lot of nurses and, other people who just, work different schedules and stuff like that. And it's really just, at the end of the day, it's doing the best that you can. But just knowing that it's just another rhythm built in our body that will function optimally, giving into what your body is created to do at different times of the day. And again, it's going to be different if you're working nights, you're a nurse, security guard, a police officer, whatever. So I want to be careful about that. But also, the more that you can, again, go back to that circadian rhythm, those 24 hours, there's a reason why.
Yeah. The thing that
I
was fascinated by it when I first saw it, because I came into eyesight, ear knowledge about the same time in my life, when I was on a quest to, how do I heal myself, right? Because I want to live a full, abundant life. And it was fascinating to see that your body was already created at certain times to revamp the system, right? Like there was a certain time of the day that your body revamped the lungs, revamped the liver, revamped the intestines, right? And so I just thought it was so fascinating to see, oh, interesting. Wow, that's really, it's just fascinating to see, like, when I was having, if I was in the middle of day and all of a sudden I'm flush and I'm like, what is this? Right. And then through my 24-hour body clock, I'm like, oh, this is what's going on right now. Right. This is part of my healing journey. And so the body is amazing.
It's amazing. And when I was going through all my training, I just think it's a miracle we all don't drop dead at age 25. I mean, everything our bodies do for us is a miracle each and every day. For example, our liver alone, hug your liver, thank your liver. Our livers do over 500 functions every day. Over 500 functions every day. It's huge and constantly working. It's amazing. And like I said, it's just a miracle every day. I live from a place of gratitude that I'm alive. My body's, doing all the
Right.
things it was created to do, and I'm supporting that and I'm nurturing that the best that I can. And there's just great, there's great reward in that. You have energy, you feel great, you sleep great, you poop great. Yeah.
That's good. And I like how you said, what our bodies were created to do. Now, you've been able to do a bit of exploring lately. Do you want to tell
Yeah.
our viewers a little bit about, celebrating life
Mhm.
in the now? Like
Yeah.
celebrating and
Yeah.
okay, so two parts: celebrating life, and then I want you to touch a little bit about on do our words and what we speak over ourselves impact our health?
Wow. Um, do you want me to start with the travel
Let's
one
start.
first?
No, let's start with the other because
Okay.
because
Okay.
one could prohibit the other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Um, if we, especially women, but everybody,
Okay.
if we could just learn to quiet our mind, every day, that, I mean, chronic diseases could be cut in less than half. I mean, I know that's bold and I know I'm throwing that out there, but the power of our thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and those negative words, those phrases, those false narratives that we tell ourselves or that somebody else has told us that, we believed at one point affects everything you do or don't do. You have somebody who is constantly judging you or somebody who is constantly, putting you down, you're going to hear that thought process, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to hear that false narrative over and over again until you address it face on and deal with it and put it in its proper place, which, is out of the mind. It's
Mm-hmm.
truth. So it's absolutely, absolutely imperative, absolutely healthy. And, and let me give you a prime example I see time and time again.
Okay.
Someone who is just hustling all the health things, okay?
Okay.
They're
Okay.
moving their body, they're, exercising, they're eating all the good things, they are, doing community, they are doing all the things, but feel stuck or don't feel well or still, just feel like they're not themselves, doesn't feel like they can reach all their potential and all of that. And I mean, 99% of the time, it's going to be emotional mental health. What are you listening to? What are you telling yourself? What do you believe in that? Because we tend to take actions based on what we're thinking and what we're believing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had a client once who had so much trauma in their life, a divorce, um, like a stillbirth at 28 weeks, and other things going on. And they were doing all the things, but their body just was not happy and was really struggling with, diarrhea and gut issues and bloating and all kinds of things. And it's like, once you start doing all the things, and if you're still feeling like that, it's I think inside work hasn't been done yet.
Mm. Mm. It's interesting because you say that and instantly I see this vision. We don't really suffer with this in the Pacific Northwest, but if you've ever lived in parts of California or hotter places like Texas or Arizona or Florida, I just instantly saw a house that was infested with roaches, termites, maggots, you name it, in the walls, and you're trying to put a fresh coat of paint on it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's not going to change it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
the color you dye your hair, right? It doesn't matter the
Mhm.
cosmetic you choose to put on. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
the lotions. It doesn't matter the scrubs, facial scrubs, right? Or the clothes. None of that's going to help unless we fix what's going on the inside, or what's being put
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
body, in the human body,
Yeah.
whether it be through nutrition, lack thereof, or I always like to think of how we're always receiving information as humans, right?
Mhm.
But we actually have a choice on what
Mhm.
kind of information we're
Mhm.
receiving or choose to partner with.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
can you share an example with us, whether it be out of, let's just use you, okay? Because
Mhm.
you is we you can freely share what you choose to share, and it's all
Mhm.
about you, anyways, right? Okay, so share with viewers, at what point in your life did you realize the power of thought? And what was thought
Mhm.
like before this moment in time? And
Mhm.
then how did you have to retrain that? Oh, no, now we're going to go over this way now. We're going to go over this way
Mhm.
now. So, can you share a
Mhm.
little bit about that journey?
Wow, my mind just went like 20 different directions. So it's like, okay, let me backtrack. Um, I think that once you are aware of those, I'm just going to call them false narratives, but
Okay.
negative thoughts, whatever
Okay.
you want to term you want to use. But
Okay.
I think once someone first becomes aware of those, that it's not one and done. It's not like, okay, I took care of that. It's constantly, it's constantly, it's some days it's daily, some days it's hourly or minute by minute, with whatever you have going on, that you just have to be, you have to be aware of that and being, mindful of that. And I think realizing that, you know, when you hear a voice inside of you, that to listen to that tone of voice. Is that tone of voice shaming you? Is that tone of voice guilting you? Is that tone of voice putting you down, tearing you down? It's not truth. It's not truth. Flip side to that, you have a very gentle voice that says, wow, you just, you, what's going on with you? You just, you, you were kind of critical of that person. You know, you do you want to rethink that? What's going on with you? What's happening there? It's that calming, it's that gentle voice that says, let's take a step back and reevaluate that. Not the shaming and condemning voice. It's never true. It's never true. And even just stopping for a moment and just saying, what is the tone of that voice? What is the tone of the voice? Is it gentle? Is it life-giving? Is it nurturing? Is it seeking my best? Or is it trying to destroy me, put me down, shame me, guilt me, everything else? And I think at that point, it's just, quote unquote, breaking agreement with it and just saying, I don't believe that. That's a lie. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. And I think having a critical voice, I named mine. my, my critical voice is Cruella. And when I hear that critical voice being critical of me, mostly 90% of the time it's me, 10% of the time it's other people. But when I'm being critical, and I just stop because I know her tone of voice, and I just stop myself and just say, no, you're not helping me, Cruella. That's a lie. That's a lie. And no thanks. And just moving forward and replacing it with truth. I'm replacing it. And sometimes it takes a second and sometimes it takes 3 hours. But just working through that and being mindful of it. I think the hardest thing for us right now is that we're so, too busy or too distracted. And I think you have to be intentional, constantly intentional of what am I thinking? How am I feeling? And not that you become so self-absorbed and self-obsessed, but that you are aware of what's going inside deep in the attic or back
Yeah.
porch of your heart.
Yeah.
That private area that we try and protect, as, based on things, of childhood or just negative traumatic experiences, that we've had. So, and have I arrived? No, I constantly have to do that because I live this side of heaven, right? So it's going to be constant, but being more mindful of it and being aware of it and just being able to recognize it, deal with it, and move on is just a game changer for me.
Leslie, I really appreciate how you chose to form your words around that about that question, because I think it's really imperative. I think too many times in life, we prohibit, we being Christ followers, prohibit others from stepping into freedom because we over spiritualize things, and instead of letting them know that they have access to healing properties now, right now, and realizing that too much is given, right? That we could pass on to other people, we could encourage other people, and want other people to be encouraged, want other people to be healed in the now, and leave everything else up to one man sows and one man plants, one man waters. But there's one particular individual that brings the increase, right? So if we would just, like, and I'm an extremist in everything I do. So, but I found that you can love on anybody. You could share glimpses of wisdom, insight. You could do all these other things in order nourishing mankind, humankind, right? And that is so important. So I want to share this little picture that I saw. It rips your heart out, but I sent it to you. This is a picture of
Wow.
a parent
Wow.
vomiting
Whew.
corrupt words to a child. Okay, now let's just think of mankind for a second, and then I want to move on to the excitement in life. Okay, if we think of our words have the power of life and death.
Yeah.
Okay, we're either speaking deadly poisonous words, or we're speaking words of encouragement, affirmation, confidence, sowing into the lives of others, because honestly, every human wants to succeed. Therefore, we should want every other human to succeed. Right? And so, oh, this is fun. What a fun segue. So if we think of success, now share with the world how you decided to step out into a space of utter global freedom.
Yes. Before I do that, I just really want to camp on what you just shared,
Please.
because I feel like, that's 100% truth. What I want to really talk about and address is for someone who has, and I have, spewed those words, particularly on a child. And what I want to share is that there is so much grace for you. You are not alone. Life is hard. Mothering is hard. And if you have spewed on your partner, on your child, coworker, neighbor, family member, if you have, that it's never too late to just make it right.
That's right.
To just apologize and say, I fell short on supporting you. I felt short on validating you. I felt short on just seeing you right now. And I apologize. And just making that right and healing to move on. We are not going to nail this 100% of the time, this side of heaven. but just knowing that grace upon grace upon grace abounds for us to receive for ourselves, so that we can in turn give it away to other people.
That's
And
right.
so I have no memory of my mother ever saying, I'm sorry. Never. And again, my mom did the best job she could. I have no memory of her ever saying she was sorry. And so I just was like, okay, learn from this, know better, do better, right? Know
Yeah.
better, do better. I know better now and do better. And my children will tell you, my mom apologized all the time, but not to the point where, not to the point where I just, I mean, it was appropriate apology, apologizing when I needed to, not, taking blame or, for every single thing in the world, but just apologizing and just saying, my tone of voice was not supportive and encouraging. It is not what you needed at that time. And I apologize, and just making it right. So anyways, I just really wanted to cover that, because I just
that was
think
vital. That was vital that you did that. It's so important.
Yeah.
It is so, and sometimes would you even say, Leslie, as parents, or whether, okay, well, I don't want to just classify it as parents. We're going to call it adults. Okay.
Mhm.
As adults, we can go back into our memory bank of different things that happen and then feel remorse about it. So, that there's, I would say that, my personal opinion is there's never a wrong time to apologize, right? So if something comes back, oh my gosh, I was looking back in memory bank and, oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. I think the only wrong time to apologize is only once. There's only one time where it's wrong to apologize, and that's when you don't mean it.
Yes, that's good, Leslie. That's
But
very
besides
good.
that, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Apologies go so far with me. So
Yeah.
anyways,
So that's
fun,
really exciting. What
travel.
did you
So yeah, it's my just any type of adventuring, exploring, traveling, anything that takes me out in a different culture, seeing different things, meeting new people, is life-changing for me. It's life-giving for me. I would literally die without it. I mean, it's so important. It's huge. It's imperative. And I say no to 100 or more things to be able to say yes to adventure and travel and exploring. And really, I think there's so many pivotal trips I've taken, and each trip I take teaches me something about God, and it teaches me something about myself and how we relate to each other. And it's just a beautiful way that I learn. And I think we are so blessed to have a loving Father who knows our love language.
Yeah.
And he knows mine is going to be one-on-one time, taking me and showing me everything he's created around the world and all the people he's made around the world, and being in their environment, in their skin, in their surroundings, smelling their smells, eating their food, and being with them and experiencing their culture, whether it agrees with mine or not, and just being part of that, and just seeing it just stretches how big God is for me, which grows my faith exponentially, immeasurably. And also, I once had somebody tell me that as a woman, there's trips you take with your sweetheart.
Okay.
And there's trips that you take with your kids, the whole family. There's trips you might take with a girlfriend. And there's trips you might take with extended family, but that every single woman needs to take at least one big trip in their life by themselves to find out what they're made out of, and to really just press into all that offers. And the first time I did it was in Ireland. And I rented a car. I was driving on the wrong side of the car, on the wrong side of the road, with the wrong metric system. in a car that was smaller than my dining room table on roads that are as big as a sidewalk in front of me. And I've never sworn so much in my life. I was learning these swear words. But somebody told me that swearing doesn't count in Europe. So yes.
That's hilarious.
And but I am telling you, that trip forever changed me. I had to be 100.
What happened? Oh no.
Without reservation. I had to be totally dependent on him for everything, for my safety, for getting where I needed to get, and all of that.
We lost you for just a second. Wow, that was so wild. I literally lost you. Hold on. Whoosh. You're back. Okay. So we lost your words for a few seconds. Okay. But now I want you to go back to, you said it was life changing. And this is hilarious. Let me tell you why. It's so funny, Leslie. Last night I was in a gathering, and in this gathering, this gal was loving on someone. Her and her husband were loving on someone. Somebody had traveled across the country to basically bring his wife to meet a coworker, right?
Wow.
And she didn't know it at the time, right? And they showed up an hour late, and but she said at one point she was like, "Okay, come on, husband, let's wrap it up," right? Because nothing significant had occurred, right? She said that she had to take herself in the bathroom, and she said, "Quit being," and she implemented the B word. She looked at herself in the mirror. Quit being the B word, right? And you get back out there and love.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
what happened in the preceding hour is like mic drop, mic drop, mic drop. OMG, can't believe he just did that, right? And so I think in that we need to give ourselves grace, right? One time I spelled the S word, and somebody behind the scene just can't believe she did that. A woman of God did that. And I'm just like, give me a break. Do you think God is up in heaven? Because I spelled the S word, right? Is he up in heaven saying, "Oh, myself"? Right?
Yeah.
No, he's not. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Thank you for being transparent. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. And I have to be honest that I literally could picture just God being in the car with me, laughing his head off at my swearing, just laughing his head off. There were so many times when I'm renting a car. I don't know how anything works.
Okay.
And I don't know how anything works. And it starts raining. And I'm trying to find the windshield wipers, and I'm trying to look, and it's raining. And so I started to pray that it would stop raining. And then it stopped. And every time I was in Ireland 10 days, and every time it rained, I prayed that it would stop raining, and it did, because I didn't have any windshield wipers. I didn't know how to work them. And so that was amazing. And then you're going to love this. By the end of the trip, by the end of the 10 days, I was like hearing God with like an Irish accent.
Oh my gosh, that's great, Leslie.
I know, it was just like best trip ever.
That is great. And I'm seeing with your future adventures that you're going to have to start wearing. I'm trying to find something for a visual. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's a perfect visual. You're going to have to start wearing one of the the cop body cam, to catch all of your moments. Not the head one, but the body cam right here.
Yeah.
Capture all your moment and your narrative in the moment.
Oh my gosh, it would be entertaining, let me tell you. So, shocker, I'm an Enneagram 7, if any of you out there are familiar with the Enneagram.
Okay.
So I live for fun. I'm going to make everything fun, but I can also be very serious. But I'm just going to make everything fun, because that's just how I was made and how I was wired. So
right, and that's healthy for you. What does it say? It brings strength to your body and nourishment to your soul, right? Strength to your body. Laughter brings strength to your body. Is it laughter? What's the part before it? Strength to your body and nourishment to your soul.
Well, and it just is, laughter is just good medicine.
Yeah.
And I think depending on the translation,
Yeah.
it's implied that smiling is just, good for our bones, which
Yes.
is symbolic of our lives,
Yes.
our being, our whole being,
Yeah.
for sure. And so somebody once asked me, do you ever have a bad day? Are you ever like sad? You have so much energy, you're so positive, you're so fun. Are you ever sad? Are you ever? And I just looked at him and he just said, I know extreme joy because I also know extreme
Right.
suffering.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And I know deep, deep sorrow because I know deep, deep joy. And I think that's just the life of following after Christ.
Yeah.
Christ held both joy and suffering at the same time. One cannot exist with the other.
Yeah.
And just being able to embrace both as Christ did, and seeking community to help you do that, and being intentional about that is just a game changer.
Yeah, that's
Really.
so good. That's so good. I remember one time, I'm not a follower, but that's only because I can't, my brain thinks so fast anyways. So I have to monitor outside voices through others. Okay. Like, so I call it information overload. Somebody will, oh, Shawn, listen to this, listen. And I'm like, no, 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 no. My brain is so active, right? Because of what, I'm in the midst of doing right now. But I remember TD Jakes said years ago, somebody came up to him and said, I want the same anointing as you, Brother TD Jakes, right? So he laid his hand on the person and began to pray over the person, the traumas that TD Jakes had endured through. And they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you asked for the same anointing. Well, this is what I've gone through. Right. And so we don't always understand the behind the scene. And I think it's important that every time we come into a room, I love lines. Okay. LINES. I love lines. Okay. Well, because I raised a stack of kids. So I spent a lot of time in lines. Okay. One of my favorite things to do is to go to Costco and I look in the lines and I pray over the people. Because behind every
That's awesome.
person, there's a situation going on. And sometimes that evolves to going up and saying something to someone, and sometimes it doesn't, right? But nonetheless, I know it's effective, right? I know it's effective to be a happy person standing in line where you've got the people creating their lines coming down on their forehead.
Yeah.
Right?
And truth be told, this side of heaven, everybody has a story that will break your heart.
That's right.
We
That's
do
right.
not leave Earth unscathed.
That's right. That's right.
And it's always, for me, when I get somebody who is checking me out or ringing me up, who's just in a foul mood, is being rude, isn't looking me in the eye, isn't greeting me, is just just kind of being rude. And rather than being offended and making it about myself, it's like, put yourself in their shoes. Maybe their partner just left them. Maybe they're really strapped financially. Maybe they are taking care of a relative who's really sick. We just don't know their stories. And so it's just, then I just like step it up on steroids of just looking them in the eye, just being like, I hope you have a good day. I hope something cool happens for you today. Thank you for helping me. I appreciate you, and just being genuine. Because if I start being like, well, how dare you treat me that way? You're rude. I'm gonna write a bad review or something like that. It's like, take a step back. Love one another. Love one another. And I don't nail this 100% of the time. But I really try and be mindful of that. We just don't know what people, are going through. And just if we can, leave a blessing for them or give them something to think about, or just even a smile, universal. I've traveled all over the world. I've been to over 30 countries, and just a smile is someone.
I love that. I love that. If I think of final words, what beautiful final words to speak. I had the honor of going into Pakistan in 2019. And I loved that although women were covered, my eyes could speak love.
Absolutely.
Eyes. My
Absolutely.
eyes could ooze with
Yeah.
love.
Hmm.
And gosh, so many nuggets. We're gonna have to have you back on again because
So sweet.
I'm serious. You may have to be a once a 6 month or something like that. Or
Oh, that's kind.
hold on, or other plants we talked about before this interview, right? Because that's what it is. It's and I love your acceptance of humankind, and everybody's different, for goodness sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. I love that about, I too, viewers, am receiving as you're receiving. Um,
Hmm.
and so I just thank you. I thank you for your yes. And I thank you that because of your yes, there's going to be more yeses coming my direction. Because you said yes. And so
Awesome.
could you just speak a final word over our viewers to bless them? Extend a
Yeah,
blessing.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, hmm. I pray that everybody who listens to this would just walk away um, with just more love for themselves
Mhm.
and more love for other people.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen. Perfect. 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 So thank you again, Leslie, and to all of our
Oh,
viewers.
my pleasure. Thank you. It was super
Yeah.
fun. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
And to all of our viewers, I want to thank you for coming on to this episode of Sagionic 1027. And until our next broadcast and our next guest, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon thee always. Blessings. Bye.
Bye.